Time because it sounds like it's going to be a sellout, big crowd. You've had a couple of games in recent years with these sellouts, and you've really performed in those games as well.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to hear that the Queensland public are getting behind the Brisbane Lions. And no doubt there'll be a few Richmond supporters here as well. But to hear that's fantastic, and hopefully we can give them something to cheer about.
Do you get anything out of the win over the Tigers at the Gabba last year? Do you look back at that much?
Oh, it's a long time ago now. I mean, it's a little bit of a template, I suppose. You look back at what you did well that night and what you didn't do so well, and try and do a better version of that next time around. But no, by and large, I tend to look more at current form and how teams are playing, and because teams do change from year to year, and personnel-wise there's changes. And tomorrow night's game, for instance, there's quite a few players missing from our team that played in that game, and there's quite a few players missing from their team. So it's a little bit of a different scenario.
Is it nice though to have beaten them, because every time you played them before that it was all about having beaten them for so long, so that's sort of not the narrative anymore? Yeah,
it was a long time ago. Yeah, we've done it once. I don't know that once proves anything. We want to try and be able to to do it more than once. So that's the aim.
And they showed how hard they are to be beaten, even though they are a bit undermanned last weekend. The Giants could tell you that.
Yeah, the Giants could. The Giants are pretty undermanned as well. They had about 10 out, so that seems to have been forgotten in the conversation around that game. They had probably 10 of their guys that would be in their best team. So it was two wounded teams playing each other last week, and it was a fantastic game of football.
You have to do a bit of reshuffling yourself. Do you know who's going to step into those sort of two spots in the back line?
Yeah, we've sort of got a little bit more time to think about before we put our team in. But Richmond don't always go with a super tall forward line. They've got a lot of dangerous quicks. So the replacements for Darcy and Leicester may not both be tall players.
Great news this morning with Zork signing on for another year. I mean, everyone knows what he brings to the culture of the club. It's always good to have him sticking around.
Yeah, I think whenever the history of our footy club is written about it from over the past 10 years, he's a really important figure in that. He's helped me and the rest of the coaches really change the culture of our football club. He's such an optimist, and he's resilient, and he's encouraged the rest of the players to grow and improve more than anyone has. And I think it's fantastic news for us that he's re-signing. He's still playing really good football, albeit now he plays different roles for us, and that's the other thing he's done so well as a leader. He's accepted role change and still performing at a high level in an area that where we really need him. So no, it's great news, and he's a credit to himself and his family and our footy club, and we love him.
Can you expand a bit on that role change, Babes, and why you asked him to make it?
Oh, well, it's not that sort of complicated, really. Zorks was pretty much purely a midfielder 2 or 3 years ago, and now he plays all over the shop, up forward, in the midfield, does various roles for us. So it depends a little bit on who we're playing and who's available. But yeah, his ability to do that, and the pressure, he's one of the best pressure players in the game, which can't be undersold. We look at stats and we get excited about kicks, marks and handballs, but go have a look at his pressure stats over the last 4 or 5 years and they'll tell a great story.
How easy his own story has been done to death in terms of how hard he had to work to get into the AFL. How easy does that make it for you as a coach to the young guys to have a role model and an example right in front of their face?
Oh, and he is, and he has mentored a number of our young blokes. I mean, Zach Barty's a good example. Zorks has been working pretty closely with him for a few years now, and I'm sure he's learning a lot of those life lessons and career lessons that Zorks learnt the hard way, just a little easier because he can pass them on.
Yeah, he was giving away a few penalties earlier in the season that was earning the ire of a few observers. He's pulled his socks up over the last few months. He must be happy with how he's responded to that for the first month.
Yeah, I think, he looked at the numbers and thought that doesn't look too good, and and has tried to modify his technique on a few things, and probably be a little bit less feisty if that's possible. And those numbers have turned around a fair bit in the last few weeks.
Fine line though, isn't it? Like you say, to
Absolutely.
be less feisty, you don't want to be
No,
yourself.
I want him to play like he always does, but there's some little things you can do that prevent some of those free kicks, and he's he's embraced that over the last few weeks.
What are your observations on how he's grown as a leader in the last few years, particularly since he took on the captaincy?
I think he understands how to work with individuals, and that they're all a little bit different, and you can't apply a one-size-fits-all solution to leading them. He understands that side of it very, very well. I think early days he probably wasn't that confident to come and talk to me about anything, but now we've built a great relationship, and now that if he thinks there's an issue with the team or there's something that we need to fix up or something we could do to get better, he doesn't hesitate to come and have a chat about it. He's fully embraced what we're trying to do, and is the person amongst the playing group that does it the best.
I did see out there at training this morning, Carter Michael was amongst the squad. I mean, he's obviously in line at possibly for a debut. What you liked about him that might be put him in the mix?
Yeah, he's been terrific. Carter playing off half-back. He's had big numbers for a half-back flanker. He uses the ball very well, and most importantly, he's defended well. So, yeah, we're giving him good consideration for this week. We'll just see how that pans out.